Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I have not posted in a while, but I did want to talk about this show, which is called The Girl from Plainville, which is the TV show based on the case of Michelle Carter and Conrad Henry Roy III. Um, and trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. This is a show about suicide and mental health issues. So if those are, triggers for you and something you don't want to hear about, I'll catch you in another video, mine. Peace. But if you stuck around, let's jump right into it. I am familiar with the actual case itself, and I do know some facts about it. And of course, with TV shows, even if it's based on real events, they have to move things around so everything isn't just like this is exactly what happened. Starting with the town, they changed the name of the town to Mattapoisett, something I can't say, but the actual where this actually took place, excuse me, is in Fayetteville, um, Massachusetts. Is it Massachusetts? I believe so. Anyway, so the very first episode is titled Star-Crossed Lovers and things like that. Lord heavens. Um, and if you're familiar with my channel, I enjoy a cocktail anyway, but this is like kind of a strong topic to be discussing. So I do have stay with it. I do have a drink with me, and of course it has my girl on here, Blanche Devereaux. Quiet, you trash. All my girls is gone. Can we just talk about that? Rest in peace. And rest in peace to Conrad. But the show starts off with a text thread between a Michelle and a Carter. Just child, they are going back and forth, and you can tell within these text messages that these are two teenagers just going back and forth. And Conrad is saying he's getting ready to do something, but he's hesitant. He doesn't like he wants to do it, but he's real hesitant about it. Um, and so it is July 13th, 2014. And what did I say? Mattapoisett? MA. That's how it has a little text on the screen, so that's how it shows up. And the police are showing up to a house, and a woman runs outside and she's reporting a missing person. It's her son. He is 18. But she tells the cop, I don't want to hear nothing about that 24-hour crap. My son never does this. He never just comes up missing, doesn't contact anybody, and not tell them where he's going. So find my son. And I said, just like a mama, I don't want to hear none of that. And I don't understand why I do understand why, but I really don't understand why they have that rule in place. Because if somebody is missing, and people want their family members found. So you talking about give it a 24-hour, I think some is even 72 before you can report a person missing. No, go find my fucking person. And so the officer, after he done got the information, he's, driving back around, and he gets incoming from dispatch saying that they think they found the car that he was driving in a parking lot in Kmart. So officers I'm on the way. So he pulls in to the parking lot, um, and he can hear like an engine running. So he opens and he sees somebody in the truck. So he opens the door, and there's a young man sitting there with his head tilted back like this, and his phone. They're from my nose, child. Not y'all singing there, Lord. Anywho, so he has his phone tucked in, and the officer is looking at him, and he touches his neck for a pulse, let me see if he has a pulse, and he tells dispatch he needs an ME, paramedics, he need all that. And there's a tank behind the driver's seat, and he cuts it off, and it's obvious that the young man has committed suicide and he's no longer here. And so we have two men in a van pull up, who I'm assuming is his dad and his granddad. are like uncle or something like that. Like we really don't know who they are until the older gentleman who was driving the van jumps out and says, like he's trying to get over to the truck, and the officers are stopping him, like, whoa, whoa, you can't go over there. And he's like, that's my truck and that's my grandson. I'm his granddad. Um, and the daddy is still in the van, just he don't even want to get out because it's like, what is they got it's caution tape. Like as soon as you know what the deal is. And so I call her Mama Roy, the mama, and she gets a call from Daddy Roy, and he says there's yellow tape around our son's truck. And that's all she needs to know because it's like shit, it's over. And so we get there's a detective talking to a police officer. They're just having casual conversation, whatever. The detective goes into his office and like opens one of the folders on his desk, seeing that somebody committed suicide, and he like looks at the name, and he goes to that same officer he was just talking to. He was like, you talking about all this other dumb shit, but you didn't think to tell me that an 18-year-old committed suicide over the weekend? And he's like, no, I really didn't think too much of it. And he's like, why? Is it important? Did you know him? And he's like, not so much him, but I knew the family. And, this could have been something you could have told me. And he's like, oh, my bad. I didn't really think about it. And so they have Conrad's phone, because remember, it was tucked in his shorts. And but they don't have the passcode. And the officer is like, yeah, I think a man called up here claiming to be his grandfather, saying that he has the passcode. All they have to do is give them a call back. So me and the detective made the same face at the same time. I'm like, so you didn't think to get that from that man? You want me to call him back? Yes, you dumb motherfucker. Call him back. Like, what are you talking about? And so I'm just like, child, I can't take this. And so Mama Roy, like, she is struggling. Of course she's struggling, because it's just like, you just found out that your son committed suicide. So it's just like, how am I gonna deal with it? Excuse me for a second, y'all. Like, how am I gonna deal with this? So she goes around his room, just looking, because it's like, I know he left a note, he left something. And she finds a notebook where there is a note for his dad, telling him he loves him. And there is a note for Michelle, and he has a big "I love you" at the bottom of her note. And so the mom tears up the room, looking like, I know he left something for me, but he didn't. And so she's very upset about that, because it's like, how you leave a note for me, and who is this Michelle girl that you just left this note to, and not your own mama? And so she calls Michelle. She knows who Michelle is, but like, we don't, like, who the hell is Michelle? So Michelle is a young teenage girl who comes downstairs in her house looking a mess, child. She has snot running down her eye, and it's just like, she and her mama look up first, and she's like, Michelle? And Michelle says, Conrad's dead. Mama said, who is Conrad, girl? And I said, that told me all I need to know right there. They don't even know who the boy is, and you talking about he dead. Who dead, girl? And so the detective, he got the passcode. He goes into the evidence. It wasn't even, they have an evidence locker, but he pulled it. It was out of this file. And he gets into the phone, and the only thing that's on the phone is 2 phone calls from Michelle, or like to Michelle, like during the time or like right before his death. And even like I think it was like while he was dying, like he was talking to her. And but ain't no text messages like from nobody. And so the detective was like, what 18-year-old you know don't have nothing on his phone? Like it's clear he was trying to hide something and he cleared out everything because it's like otherwise this don't make sense. Why ain't nothing on this phone, child? Um, and so two girls pull up this if y'all watch the show, when the two young girls pull up to Michelle's house, like and they getting out and they walking up to the door, one of the girls, she's like, this is weird. And the other girl like, don't say that. She's like, girl, we don't know who this is. Like, it don't make no sense. And so when they get up there to her room, Michelle jumps up and she's like, you guys really came. I said, so that told me y'all not really friends because why would you be surprised about your friends coming to support you? And so her sisters are like prior to, and she was the one comforting her. So she tells her, can you give us some privacy? And the sister's like, sure. Um, and it's like the sisters don't even hit the door good. And she's like, door, I'm not shit. I know I'm not shit, but it was funny to me because it's the way she said door. I'm like, girl, who you talking to? Door would have been left wide open. I'm an asshole like that. Like, girl, I'm not your maid. Don't talk to me like that. I'm in here trying to comfort you, make sure you all right. But there's something off about Michelle because it's how she went from boo-hooing, crying, saying, this is really traumatizing for her to I gotta find something to wear for the funeral. I don't know what should I wear. And at first she pulls out this dress with flowers on it, and they're like, girl, you're going to a funeral. This ain't a party. No. Like, get an all black dress and just let that be that. And what did I say? The young lady with the purple tape, she me. Cause she wasn't saying too much. She was just looking. And my friends know me. I ain't got too much to say. I'm just looking and observing because something is off here. It don't sound right. It don't smell right. It's just crazy. So the detective goes to this is a different officer than the last one he talked to, and asks him to recover the deleted messages from the phone because he knows that that's something that can be done. Um, because something just don't make sense. Like I said, he's an 18-year-old boy. He had to have been talking to somebody. Like there's nothing on his phone. He completely like wiped it clean before he took himself out of here. So can you please find out what is going on? Um, and so the officer was like, yeah, sure, no problem. That's what I do. 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 Excuse me. Um, so yeah, like I said, so there was the two phone calls, and he deleted all the texts except for the ones with Michelle right before he unalived himself. And her last message being to him, I almost thought you did it, which is weird because, but see, I'm gonna paste it because I don't want to reveal it. Like, let's go in the show space. So Michelle comes out for dinner and she's like, why are these bags by the door? And her parents tell her, well, first let's talk about this. I know ice cold and pale as dinner, but I'm like, they white. What do you expect? They're sitting down waiting for her to come down so they can all eat together as a family. And when she comes in, she's like, what are these bags by the door? And they're like, we leaving for the lake house in the morning. You know that. It's been on the calendar for a year. So don't act like you ain't know. And it's the only time dad can get off work because he very busy, which is like every time you have a nice white family, the dad always busy with work. He's a very busy man. He can't be at home. And she's like, I have to go to the funeral. And straight up said, girl, no. They didn't give it no time. They're like, girl, we're not canceling this trip so you can go to a funeral. That's not what's happening. And the mama is like, do the family want you? Like, are you even invited, honey? Like, are you sure? And I'm sorry. But just think about you being told up about somebody and swearing that you have to go to the funeral. And somebody look at you and like, girl, were you even invited, honey? Are you sure? I cried. I said, you ain't have to eat her up like that, mama. Um, but of course, next thing you know, we see Michelle and her mama, first of all, pulling up to the Kmart where it happened. And there's a little visual going on where people have placed flowers and like a teddy bear or something like that. And she put some flowers down and they show up to the funeral. And Mama Roy is confused because Michelle's mom says something first, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know your son. My condolences for your loss. And Michelle don't say nothing. And Mama Roy is looking at her like, Michelle? And Michelle is doing this, like her whole body is vibrating. I don't even know if it's coming off like on camera, but her whole body is like jerking. And then she throws herself at this woman. And the mama is like, I don't know you to be hugging you like this. And for you to just throw yourself on me like this, like, girl, please. Why would you do this? Why would you play me? Like, why would you do such thing? Um, and so we have a moment where Mama Roy is like off to the side, sitting down with Michelle, and she tells her, he wrote you a note. And while she over there, like, it seems like she's looking sad. He did. Do you have it? Can I read it? And it's just like, Michelle. And the mom was like, no, I don't have it with me, girl. She's like, yeah, of course, of course. I'm just like, Michelle, something ain't right, honey. You just like your vibe, it ain't what it should be. It's just like, no. And so the Roy family, like they on the beach, they're spreading Conrad's ashes. And that's a conversation to have, like even at a young age or something like that happens. Because I've expressed many times. If I pass and if and when I pass, I want to be cremated. Please, when I keep my body, I don't want a funeral. I don't want none of that. Cremate me, have a drink for me, and really like go on about your lives. I do not want to be a hoopla, like none of that. It ain't gonna be too many people that miss me anyway, but just like those are my wishes. I want to be cremated, have a drink for me, maybe play my favorite song in memory of me, and let that be that. Um, so after they spread the ashes, they're just sitting on the beach. And Daddy Roy, who I find out name is Cole, because there is three generations of Conrad. You got I call him Grand Cole. So we have Grand Cole, Cole, and then the young man who unalived himself, they called him Coco. He asks her, or he gives her a necklace. He's like, I found this in the car and I thought you would want to have this back before police took it. And so she's just like, no, the dad was like, I wonder if we're the reason. And he just like, and she's like, I really don't want to hear about this. Like, I don't want to talk about it. And it's like, it's staring you in your face, like two different types of grieving. Because it's like dad is trying to get some understanding, and mama is like talking about this shit is the last thing that's on my mind. I just want to grieve my child. Please just let me grieve my child. Um, and so daddy is like, I wonder if we the reason. And mama got frustrated. She was like, they said get him a shrink. We got him a shrink. The shrink says give him medication. We gave him medication. Like everything they told us to do, we did it. And we tried ourselves talking with him. Like, and it's like when you have a person in your life who unalives themselves, and that's another thing. as a person who has mental issues and have had these thoughts and like continue to have these thoughts, like I'm cool. Don't nobody be worried about me. Don't go other people on me. I'm all right. But just as somebody who has these thoughts, it's like at the end of the day, it's not about you, like the people it affects. I know you are affected. I feel like how I'm saying this ain't coming off right, but it's like don't make it about you. If I decide to do that to myself, and it's like it's something that I was going through, you cannot then turn around and make my situation about you because it's not about you. That was me. That's a decision that I made, and hopefully, just pray my peace. Just pray that I'm hopefully at rest and let it go. Because it's just like I get what Mama was saying. She's just like I did everything that I was supposed to. I'm not taking blame for this. And it's like, there's nobody to blame. Like, it's literally, it's inside your mind. There's no talking to nobody. There's no taking a whole bunch of pills. At the end of the day, it's inside your mind. You can never, like, officially, even with the medication, turn those thoughts off because in the back of your mind, they're always going to be there. Whew. So she get up and walk away from the daddy, like, we're not talking about this. And so Michelle, they getting ready, they still going on this trip. Like, okay, girl, we let you go to the funeral, but the trip is still happening. She is pissed. The daddy, like, girl, what's wrong with you? They spreading his ashes without me. Can you believe that? And the daddy has to tell her that that's just a family thing. That don't include you, honey. Like that ain't got nothing to do with you. So you should not be upset right now. And hmm, so she storms out the house, and it's like next thing you know, we see her. It seems like it's a pizza parlor, and she intrudes on this friend group who they talking, they laughing, they having fun. And when they see her, and she just pull up a chair and invite herself to the conversation, it's like, uh, hey, like, can we help you? And immediately she brings the mood down, like, I'm still upset about Conrad. We were real close, and I just can't believe he's gone. And she sees that when she does that, like when she talks about him and brings up his death, that they pay attention to her and they offer her like condolences and they console her. So, because at first they was ignoring the shit out of her sitting at that table. It's just like, so anyway, like I was saying, girl, yeah, Conrad, and it's just like, because one of the boys, I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it was hilarious because the boy was like, did your boyfriend just unalive himself or something like that? And it's like the way he said it, he didn't have a care in the world. And it was just like, you couldn't say it better than that. I'm like, what? Ain't it? Like, whatever. And she's like, yeah, I'm thinking about starting like a fundraiser in his honor because he loved baseball. So we're gonna do a baseball game. And that's how she like roped them into talking to her because like her just trying to have a conversation with them on her own, they don't pay her no attention. And so she brings him up again, like while her and her family are at the lake house, like while they fishing. And the dad says, it seems like you guys were really close. And she says, there's no seem like we were really close. And the daddy is like, look, I'm just trying to understand. Because before this moment, before this happened, you never brought him up. You never talked about him. We didn't even know his name. Like, we didn't know he existed. So, you getting upset don't make no sense because nobody knew about him and nobody knew that you knew him. And so she walks off, and once again, the sister, Door's sister, is at her side again, trying to give her some comfort. And I said, that little girl is very empathetic because she sees her sister in pain and she's like, I'm just trying to be here for you and be by your side. Like, I didn't know that you guys were that close. And so, and I hate when people like whatever the title of something is, like they have to say it and whatever. Because the title of this episode is Star-Crossed Lovers. and things like that. And this is when she tells her sister, because after her sister says, I didn't know you guys were that close. She says, we were kind of like star-crossed lovers and things like that. I said, oh, shoot me now. Shoot me now, please. Like, oh, why are you doing this to me? Um, and so the detective is at home playing soccer with his son. They're having a good old time. He got a day off. And that officer that he asked to, run the phone and get the deleted messages pulls up with two boxes, like, here you go. And he just flips the top and gets right to work. And the son is like, Dad. And the dad turned around like, boy, you see what I'm doing. Go now with your little game. I said, dang. You had to dismiss your son like that, but that shit was funny though. And of course, it's like he grabs a folder, flips it open, sees the messages, closes it right back up, and he sees this iPad. He pulls out the iPad like it's in a cover. He flips it open, presses it. There's a video already queued up, and all he has to do is press play. I said, y'all couldn't even try to make it seem like he was looking for something. This video just ready to go for him. And it's a video diary of Conrad just expressing his emotions, just talking about the things that are going on in his mind and kind of like why he is the way he is and how his mind thinks. And while that is playing, the detective is back to reading through the thread of text messages with Michelle. And you can see that she was encouraging him to do this. So it's just like something right about this. And he feels away. He's like, nah, something got to be done. And then I hope she didn't do this in real life, but the strangest fucking thing happens. This girl is in the mirror, like crying, quoting the scene from Glee. When Finn, I'm so sorry, I don't know the actor's real name right off the top of my head, but when Finn died and they incorporated that into the show, and that scene where right before Rachel sings Adele, she has the little speech, she's doing that, and then she goes on to sing, because she wasn't really singing, but she like sang a little bit, and it's just like, girl, you are like, I want to call you a fatal attraction, because it's like you are practicing being upset, and it's you my love, and it's just like tears are pouring, and then it's like she stops crying and just looks. I said, look at these white woman tears. Look at these white woman tears. I just couldn't believe. I said, wow, this is insane. And it's just like this girl, what, Michelle is 17 and Conrad was 18. That shit is insane. But that's just the start of it, honey. We got a whole bunch of other things to get to. So I hope y'all enjoy my review. Come back for another one, because I'm definitely gonna be reviewing the show. Peace and blessings, my beautiful people. Oh, and if you need anybody to talk to, I'm gonna put like the suicide number and all that stuff down at the bottom. Just if you stuck around or you know somebody that needs some help, please, talk to them, reach out to them, give them a number, just any way you can. Peace.